How's it going, everyone? We are back with another weekly watch list, and I'm excited to bring this one to you because I will be officially back to placing trades this week. I've had the last couple weeks off, and I officially be back to taking trades this week. Now, I mean taking trades because every day I still was showing up to the market, doing my normal routine. I just was not placing any trades, and a couple of reasons, if anyone's really cares or is curious. One of the weeks was simply just because I was away for a few days into the weekend, into the beginning of the week, and that week also turned into the election week. So I was preserving some mental capital around the election week, as well as I have increased my account size, taking that next step in my journey. And I wanted to be as objective, emotionless, just stress-free as possible heading into that. So I will be beginning with that this week. And it's definitely an interesting step. If you've been following the journey and watching these watch lists, it's been 2 years now since I've been keeping trading full-time and treating it like a job. And 3 years if you count my first year of just ridiculous, gambling trades, following alerts, things like that. No real education, no real system, nothing. I feel like a lot of people start that way. So I'm really excited heading into year 3 or year 4, whichever way you want to look at it, with this new account size and doubling down on everything that I have learned up to this point. So that being said, let's get into the watch list. If you are watching the video, I really do appreciate every single one of you. So please consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, and or subscribing. That would mean the world to me. So we're going to be breaking things down really simply here. We're going to go the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then the 15-minute. All right, for QQQ, SPY, IWM, and then we'll throw a little bit of SPX, ES, and NQ in there as well. Just because for my QQQ trades, I'm also watching NQ. For my SPY trades, I'm also watching ES and SPX. Really, for my any trades, I'm watching SPX. I mean, other than IWM. So let's get into it. On the daily here on QQQ, okay, a couple of major things stand out. First one, we have this daily gap here at 507. 507.98, and then we have let's see, any other gaps here? None here other than here. We do have a daily gap just here at this level as well, and it's also a level of interest on the 2 hour, the 1 hour as well. So we will work our way down there. Excuse me. So I'm going to keep this previous all-time high level on the chart as well. Again, anything that's in blue is just potentially a level of importance, but not something that I'm looking to take major trades at. It could be a invalidation point. It could be a profit target, that type of thing, right? But you can see we've had some nice reactions to it already, so I will be keeping it on the chart for now. But on the 4 hour, right, this is where I'm getting the most of my supply and demand, and then I'll break it down to 2 hour zones and 1 hour zones. So as we are heading down here, if we do see continuation, I do have a 2 hour demand zone down here, which we'll get to in a second. But below that, we have a 4 hour demand zone down here at 486 area. So let's head over to the 2 hour now. Over on the 2 hour, as you can see, we have this 2 hour demand zone here. So if we do break below the previous day low, I'll be looking for a bounce in this area. Down here in this 4 hour demand zone, we also have 2 hour and 1 hour demand as well. Now, this 2 hour demand is also a really high level of interest because, as I've written here, it's a 1 hour demand wick as well, and it's that daily gap. So this 492.84 is going to be a really key level here, right? So if we do break below this previous day low and we have movement down, not a whole lot of room, just enough though you could catch a piece about $2 here before we get around to this area. So I'd be really risky on any shorts under the previous day low. Above that, we do have 4 hour supply all the way back up here at the all-time highs. And then other than that, we just have a couple previous day highs. Previous day high here, this is also a daily gap, and a previous day low is also now resistance. Any previous day lows that were not retested or we broke through in the pre-market or after hours stay on the chart, and then you become new resistance. So that's what I'm going to be looking at on QQQ. Right now, if I take it down to the hourly, just so you can see that as well, you can see that we have the 1 hour wicks in here as well. So if I kind of expand this a little bit, we have a 1 hour wick here. We have this 2 hour wick is also a 1 hour wick as well here, right? And then lastly, take it down to the 15-minute. We have our previous day high, previous day low. All right, that's always the first range that I'm looking at. And then our gold dotted line here, that is the prior day close. Again, I just use that for additional confluence. If we are under the prior day close, it's definitely more bearish. If we're above it, we're definitely more bullish, and it can absolutely act as support and resistance. All right, so let's take it over to NQ. NQ, we can go over to the 4 hour to kick things off. Definitely have less levels here on NQ. We have 4 hour supply all the way up to all-time highs. I kept this on the chart, this potential resistance turn to support here. It did get a little bit of attention here on that last session, so I will keep that on the chart. Kind of this zone up here at this 794 up to 854, this area up here, this potential area of a retest for reject. If we get above it, looking at longs back to all-time high. But as far as demand goes, same thing. We have that 2 hour demand and then all of this 4 hour demand, 2 hour demand down here, okay? So let's head over to SPY. Let's go to the daily first, take a look at any gaps. So up here on SPY, first thing we have on the daily, we have 2 gaps to look out for, right? We have the daily gap here at 576.7, and we have a daily gap up here at 592. So which direction are we going to head? I also took this Fibonacci, right? We have this impulse move up. We're already bouncing that 50 fib. If we break below it, then what I will do is simply add the 61, and I'll be looking for a bounce at this 580 as well. But for now, just to remove some clutter, we will keep it off the chart. So let's head over to the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we have, again, 4 hour, really nice looking 4 hour supply up here at all-time highs. We have another 4 hour supply, which also has the previous day high in it here, as well at 591, which also has a 4 hour supply wick in this area as well, as you can see. Under the previous day low, as far as bounces go, we can go down to the 2 hour. I'll be looking at down here. I'll be looking at this daily gap 576 up to this 577.72, this 2 hour demand zone, previous resistance, turn to demand. Be looking here as well for a bounce. As you can see, this level here, this daily gap, okay? It was a previous daily gap here when we were down here, and we leaped right over it for the election. So again, totally could be invalidated at this point, but I'm keeping it on the chart just in case we do end up coming down here. If I'm in some sort of short trade headed to this gap, I could look to take some off in this area, okay? Lastly, we'll head down to the 1 hour. Let's see, nothing else particularly here on the 1 hour. We just have our supply zone up here and our previous day low. So heading over to the 15-minute, that's going to be the main areas I'm going to be watching, right? If we start moving back up, I'm going to look for this 4 hour supply wick and 4 hour body and this previous day high. This is a very nice area for a reject. And then if we head below the previous day low, we will break under that 50 fib. I will look for a move down to the 61 fib, which is right near that daily gap at 580. All right, let's head over to ES. Don't know why that just, let's see, let's head over there. You have this very similar look, of course, to it. We'll go over to the 4 hour for those zones. Very similar look. We had the fib as well, looking at that. Again, bouncing that 50 fib. We have the 61 here at 58.49. 2 hour demand below that, down here at this 58.28. Same thing, 4 hour supply. These zones look very, very good. I'm also keeping whole psych numbers on the chart as well, 5,900. And then all the way up here, I'll put a 6,000 up here. This is very close, so I'll probably put another 6,000 up here. If we get above this 4 hour supply, next target is probably going to be that 6,000. I did keep this. This was a previous day low a few times, so I am keeping it on the chart as well as potential area that we could come up and retest. So lastly, let's go over to SPX and IWM. SPX, we really just need to look at the hourly for. So I put all my levels on the hourly, and I just marked the previous day high, previous day low. If we gap above or below it, they stay on the chart. If we go through it and invalidate it, I get rid of it unless it still looks really good, of course. So we have our previous day high, our previous day low, and whole psych numbers. We have 5,900 here. So under this previous day low, we have a really clear move down to this 5,800 and daily gap fill. Yes, we have another previous day low along the way. We absolutely could bounce at this 58.11. However, SPX really likes to fill its gaps. So if we move up over 5,900, price target is going to be the previous day high and that and that gap to the upside. If we go under the previous day low, targets are going to be 5,800 and that daily gap, right? So very simple, very simple levels here, simple trading. No need to overcomplicate like I have done in the past, of course, but that changes all now. I will only exclusively be trading my key levels with price action, volume, and invalidation points to confirm. That simple. There'll be no scalping EMAs or piecing things together. If there is no key level, I will not be taking a trade and being 100% disciplined with that. So on IWM, let's go over to the 4 hour to kick things off. Had this nice move back down after just almost getting up to the all-time highs. We have 4 hour supply with our previous day high in there as well. in that 4-hour supply, we also have a 2-hour supply wick. We have a 4-hour supply wick and body as well, since it's pretty much the wick and the body here at the bottom. So that's going to be an area for a reject somewhere up in here if price moves back up. Below, we're looking at shorts below the previous day low down to this 2-hour demand. So if I head back over to the 2-hour here, we have a very clear 2-hour demand here and 2-hour wick. So under previous day looks like a nice move down here. If we do break that demand as well, we have all types of demand down here. We almost have like 2 demand zones in one. We have a 2-hour demand zone here, and then we have a 4-hour demand zone here back on the 4-hour, all types of wicks and bodies in there as well, down in this 220 whole psych number area as well. So where we see a nice move out of. So if we do break below this, I mean, this looks very, very good for a bounce here, okay? If we get above this supply, we just have a few previous day highs on the way up, 236, 240, and then back to the high we just made at 242. So that's going to wrap up the watch list. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, again, please consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, subscribing to the channel. I appreciate every single one of you. I am wishing you all a great week inside and outside of the market, and I will see you all in the next watch list. Peace.